This is the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show here at Namm 2014, and I'm here with Layla Allman of Brooklyn. You know what? When I first met you, it was Layla.
I know. I was like 16 when you first interviewed me. Yeah, and then I got the Brooklyn tattoo on my forearm, and everybody started calling me Brooklyn. So now it's Brooklyn Allman.
Okay, all right. So, well, I stand corrected. Brooklyn Allman of Picture Me Broken. Fill me in on what's been going on since we last talked.
Quite a lot's been going on, actually. We've had some wonderful touring opportunities. We last year this time we went out with a metal band called OTEP, and then I guess we got this insane offer to go out with Alice Cooper and Marilyn Manson over the summer. We were the sole direct support for the Masters of Madness tour, and it completely changed my life. It was such a surreal experience, and I think the band grew a lot, and it kind of emphasized this new direction we want to go in a way.
What was it like touring with Marilyn Manson and Alice Cooper? Did you get to know them personally?
We became really great friends with both bands. It's some of the nicest people we've ever worked with. Really classy, really professional, and we learned so much. And it was really nice to see such iconic musicians and those they work with take a younger band under their wing like they did with us. So I think it went so far beyond the tour. The relationships we made were amazing, and just watching these monster theatrical glam rock icons up close was the greatest learning experience a young band like us could ever have.
Alice Cooper's already relaxed in his partying ways, but Marilyn Manson, I heard, is still out there. How out there was his behavior on this tour?
Honestly, he must have been on his best behavior, if that's what everyone's heard, because he was absolutely wonderful to us. We would drink absinthe before every set, and he had so much great advice to give me, and we've remained friends since the tour, and I only have great things to say about him. He's really smart, really great guy.
What advice did he give you?
He definitely said that emphasized that controversy is king. He had, we talked every day in his dressing room pretty much, and he says to do something when you're 20 that you'll regret when you're 40. And I guess he's always been the king of those bold moves, so I guess he was kind of urging me to be bold and go for it. And yeah, he had really great things to say about the band, and he's really cool.
How theatrical do you feel Picture Me Broken is right now?
I think we only want to get more so. I mean, I started the band when I was very young, and I think the more I grow and the more I tour and experience being in a band, the more you kind of want to express yourself. And I think that, that sort of glam rock and that theatrical arena rock has sort of died in recent times, and rock music's become very sterile and folky. So I think there's nothing more exciting than being in the position where you're a new band and you can go for, something more exciting and maybe try to bring something back to the table that, kids can grab onto. And like that's the bands we were inspired by. We're always all about that, always all about all the excitement. And rock and roll used to be dangerous. It used to be fun and invincible. And we hope that we can add a little bit of that to the modern music scene.
Now, I know that you are really good friends with Andy Bierzak of the Black Veil Brides.
Andy introduced my guitar player Dante and I, and he used to be in a band with Jake and Jinx. So, it really worked out really well with Dante and I, and, he's like one of the most integral parts of my lineup, one of the best musicians I've ever worked with. So I guess when you ask me, I guess that's sort of the main thing that came of that, for sure. Are you writing new material? We're writing all kinds of new material. I mean, we did have a record finished and in the can that was intended to be released as a full length last year, but we had a little bit of turmoil behind the scenes that we finally finished working out. A lot of people thought that we took some sort of strange hiatus, but that was not the case. We stayed on the road while dealing with a lot of behind the scenes business, and now it's wonderful to be free from all of it. And there's nothing more inspiring than writing and being able to take it to the next stage after you've been kind of dealing with some turmoil. You know what I mean? Well, during that turmoil, what do you feel your highest level of suffering was? I think the worst thing, and I can't say much about it, but the worst thing is, and everybody's heard music industry horror stories, and I wouldn't say that we had something like insurmountable, but I did get a little taste of what it's like to kind of be chained up to something and maybe not be able to roll your artwork out exactly the way that you would like it, or be able to trust and have faith in those who are supposed to protect it. So I guess I could say I'm very, very happy to have moved on from that and have learned from the mistake, and hopefully, now that it's over, Picture Me Broken can kind of get back to, doing a full album cycle and rolling everything out the way we want to. And let's face it, you're young enough to be able to deal with those kind of things. Yeah, I'm very glad that I learned the lesson so early on, and I had my little taste of it early on, and I kind of had it out of the way. I'm still only 20, so it's all out of the way, and I feel like, I don't know if it's all out of the way, but I'm definitely wiser. I'm wiser from it. Now let's talk about image and beauty. Your new haircut is off the chain. I love it.
okay? It frames your face so well and shows off your beautiful cheekbones.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, what inspired the hairdo?
Okay, well, I was always really influenced. I'm just gonna go out and say it, girl with the dragon tattoo. I mean, every time, since I read that book, I always thought that was one of the strongest characters that I identified with. And every time I see a chick with a mohawk, I was like, I want a mohawk. And it was so, when I first thought of it, the idea was so crazy to me, chopping off all my hair, because I was like terrified of it. So it was almost like taking a little step into, facing a fear and taking a risk. And turns out, I feel like it's one of the best decisions I've ever made as far as style goes.
And the next thing we want to talk about is your makeup. Okay, so you got a smoky eye going on.
Smoky eyes.
With gold on the lid and black in the crease and
Yeah.
on the outer part of the eyelid. That's really in trend right now. So that's in style.
I wasn't aware. Yeah, I've always just been a makeup nerd. I would watch YouTube videos when I was like a teenager, and I just think it's fun. Like, rock bands and their stage makeup, it kind of goes hand in hand. So it doesn't hurt to get into it and just kind of, play with it, whatever works for you. And I like to be able to, I never have makeup artists on my shoots. I just like to do my own shit. So I just kind of learned how to do it.
And it's awesome.
Thank you.
Now, Brooklyn, I want to ask you. You started at such a young age, yet you've kept your head. Well, now recently we know in the news that Justin Bieber went to jail.
Oh my Lord, yes.
And that you wouldn't think that from a pop star. You would think that more from a rock star.
It's funny because rock stars today are they're like Mormon compared to the pop stars. And, I'm almost a little jealous. I'm like, okay, I'd like to see a rock band getting into some trouble again in the news. I guess I'd be much happier if I saw a rock artist getting arrested. What did he get, DUI or something? I don't even know.
He got busted drag racing in Miami.
Yeah. No, it's almost a little. I think the rock artists need to step up their game a little bit. I guess in this stage of my life, I'm so focused on moving to the next level, and I'm focusing on the artwork of it. It doesn't mean we don't have fun. I mean, all rock bands have fun, and I think there should be a lot more of that today. I think, like I said, it's getting very sterile. So I'm actually looking out for that, and I'm hoping to take part in it myself. I will say, during the whole Miley scandal, I was. I actually almost liked what she was doing. I think she nailed what she was trying to do. I think people still talking about it, then job well done.
Well, I think one of the things that is misunderstood today in the media is that you guys are performers. You are it's called show business.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot about entertainment. I learned a lot about that when we were out with Manson and Cooper. I mean, there's a lot of pageantry and there's a lot of, larger than life spectacles, and I think it's a rock band's job to deliver that.
What is next for you, Brooklyn Allman?
Well, we're actually we're in the middle of completing our lineup. And it's been really exciting getting to talk to new musicians and find the hot young musicians out there. And we're doing a lot of writing. And now that we're kind of free from what we were dealing with for the past few years, it's like a nice blank canvas, and we have the freedom to just create art. So I think we're kind of using this transitional phase to kind of go in the more of the direction we've been wanting to go in for a long time. Because when you start a band when you're young, you can kind of get tied to the first thing you choose to do. And as much as I love what I did in the past, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed it. Was fulfilling, but I feel like now I'm kind of growing into my own and figuring out what I really want to do. And Picture Me Broken is by all means going into a straight up theatrical rock direction, and we're trying to write bigger songs, bigger choruses, really emphasize the musicianship. I really want my two lead guitar players, Jimmy and Dante, to shine, and we really want to show the world what we can do, because we don't feel like we've had the opportunity to do that yet.
Lastly, right now there is a trend. And you see there with Taylor Momsen, and you see a lot of this going on in Revolver magazine with hell and Satan and putting a pentagram on everything.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the pentagram? Are you pro pentagram, or are you like, I don't need the pentagram to sell my wares?
Honestly, I've been an existentialist atheist since I was a child, so I would stick the inverted cross on a lot of things, and it was kind of a symbol of freedom and hope for me. So I feel like when it's used in a context of your world philosophy and your religious beliefs, it's fantastic. But I see so many bands kind of whoring it out as a trendy stamp to place, and I don't think that's rock and roll at all. Rock and roll is about what's real. It's about what your music is, what your message is, why you do what you do. So I think it's a matter of where it's coming from, and I don't. If you put satanic imagery in your music, well then you better stand for something that has a message that conveyed by that, not just to sell T-shirts.
Do you want to give a positive message in your next album?
Absolutely. I think that rock music is supposed to make people feel invincible. It's supposed to give people hope. It's supposed to be a good escape route for people. And I think that it's a very cathartic genre, and I think it's kind of lost that in times, and it's gained a reputation for being negative. When I think it's really I think people can identify with it and relate to it and realize they're not alone, even when it is dark at times.
Blairing out with Eric Blair Show with Brooklyn Allman at the 2014 Namm Show. Signing off.
The Blairing Out Show.